Alrighty, can everybody
Oh,
hear me well?
go ahead. Yes, we
Yeah, I
can.
mean, just okay. So before I start, my name is Maximiliano Trujillo. Yes, you can just call me Max. Um, and thank you for everybody, or thanks everybody for being here, and apologies in advance if some of the presentation feels rushed, just for the time's sake. But yeah, let's go. Next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am from San Francisco, California, from the Mission District, which is a predominantly an area of San Francisco predominantly Latino and predominantly working class. I'm interested in public policy, politics, and activism, and that's why I chose to um, to embark on the CTG journey. Um, Growing up, I've been able to witness what people power means, and some of the fondest memories of my childhood involve going to activism, uh, being involved in activism and grassroots movements, and going to protests with my mom in search for immigrant rights and workers' rights. And an overarching question that I've been asking myself is, how can I, as a young person, bring about meaningful social change? Next slide, please. Okay, so introducing the problem. So the problem in my community is that there is currently no direct link between local government and the youth of my city district. More on that in a little bit. Um, as is the case in other areas of the city. This means that District 9 youth, a majority of which are in public schools and are students of color, as well as low income, have little to no voice in the policies that affect them. In the center here is a data table showing the estimated number of youth by race and ethnicity of District 9 based on SFUSD and census data. We can see that youth in the district is overwhelmingly Latino, followed by Black or Asian, Black, and white youth, respectively. And my problem statement is that District 9 youth are currently underrepresented in the local public policy. The District 9 Youth Council will work to discern, advocate for, and present the lived experiences of District 9 youth to the Office of the Supervisor. More on this in a little bit. Advocating for changes in local policy. Next slide. So some additional context as to how San Francisco city government works and just the legislative layout. So there exists the Board of Supervisors, which basically I like to think of just a fancy term for city council. There's 11 city districts, and there's 11 supervisors, and they're all Democrats, but some of them are more progressive and some of them are more moderate. Next slide. So my supervisor, I am in District 9, which is in the center east side of the city, sort of. Again, it's predominantly working class and of color. And my supervisor is Jackie Fielder, pictured here. She was elected last November, and she's known for being the most progressive member on the board, as well as the youngest. Next slide, please. So some additional statistics, just for more context. District 9 total estimated population is about a little more than 86,000. And of that, a little bit less than 10,000 are children and youth. 20% of those children live in poverty, and 60% of SFUSD students, which is just the public school system here in San Francisco, are socioeconomically disadvantaged. And here are some graphs on the right side that show the disparities in household income and poverty rate and in disconnected youth by race. And there becomes a very apparent disparity. Next slide, please. So some challenges for my project. The first challenge, honestly, is just being taken seriously, right? I started off without a big team, and so it was kind of challenging to stake my voice and speak truth to power. Number two, and this became challenges 2 and 3 became more obvious later on. Challenge 2 is bureaucracy. Taking steps forward became increasingly time-consuming because there's a multitude of processes, and there's not really a streamlined process. And challenge 3 is just finalizing logistics, which I was able to mitigate the bulk of through Close the Gap. And that's just things like meeting dates, bylaws, onboarding members, recruiting people, things like that. Next slide, please. So starting a youth council and getting in contact with my elected official and nonprofits. Just for more context, a youth council has never been formed in my district. This has only happened one time in the city's history in District 7, which I took inspiration from, but that happened directly at the hands of a nonprofit, not high schoolers themselves. No city initiative of this sort places an emphasis on Latino youth, immigrant youth and their families, youth living under housing uncertainty, and youth affected by substance abuse, all of which, of course, are prevalent problems in San Francisco's District 9. Next slide, please. So just a rough timeline. I'll be going through this really quick. The seeds were planted in last summer. I was able to gain a feature in local news outlet Mission Local. We were able then to establish a local nonprofit, but the project didn't pick up speed until this year. Early this year, we were able to connect with Supervisor Jackie Fielder's office. We were able to meet her in person and speak to her about our idea. And this summer in June, our last remaining hurdles, we cleared our last remaining hurdles, which were just contracts and MOUs. And in August, we're going to have, actually 10 days from now, the 27th, we're going to have our first meeting, and we're going to commence our work of reporting and discerning youth issues and uplifting youth voice. Next slide, please. So some impact so far. We were able to receive a $10,000 grant from the City and County of San Francisco through its Youth Empowerment Fund program. We recruited about 10 students with a final goal of 15. Just for context, there are 3 neighborhoods in District 9, and that's 5 youth each. We met with Supervisor Jackie Fielder, and we're working with nonprofits 524 Latino Cultural District, the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco, which we are going to hold our meetings. They're going to host our meetings, and the San Francisco Youth Commission. And as previously stated, we've been featured on a news article as well. So next slide, please. So I can't fit everything on this slide. I really wish I could, but here are some highlights. The impact so far, although we haven't had a formal meeting yet, I think we still have been able to impact and move forward. Things like legal and logistical processes, the recruitment of high schoolers. We actually had 26 applications. I worked with my co-lead Adriel and my sister there pictured, Gabriella. That's a picture of us at the supervisor's office. We working with directors of nonprofits like Kate, the director of Boys and Girls Club here in the Mission, as well as Supervisor Fielder's legislative aide, her name is Jen Ferrigno, pictured here on the left. And yeah, next slide, please.
1 minute remaining.
Okay, so what I learned. Next slide. So just some things I learned. Everything takes time. Patience and planning ahead is seriously the key. Number 2, you will never go wrong by planning and starting early. There's no such thing as there's time for that later. And honestly, I wish I knew that before. That's what I got a little mixed up there. I learned that bureaucracy is very, very real, to be honest, and things take time, especially when working with city governments and with nonprofits and things like that. Communication and professionalism are key when working with government and organization officials. Fifthly, it's important to not only believe in your power, but to seize it. And number 6, which I think is the biggest takeaway for me and should be the message of my presentation, is that you should strive to be part of something bigger, something certainly bigger than yourself, to drive change and to drive social change. But yeah, next slide. And yeah, thank you. So Q&A time. Thank you.
Yes.
Max, Naomi here. This is really cool that you're putting together council. Obviously, there's longevity past this program. What kind of things do you think you're going to talk about or achieve in the first few months that your council's put together?
Yes.
Or are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah. So this wasn't clear in the presentation, but our methodology of conducting work, it's outlined. We're gonna our way of kind of discerning the youth issues is gonna be holding public forums and going to public schools and really trying to get all the feedback from youth. Then we're gonna write reports based on just the state of affairs for youth. I think the most relevant issues would be drug use and gentrification and displacement, as well as just wealth disparity in general. There's also there's a lot of illegal vending. Drugs are easily accessible for youth, especially, and so these are the kind of things that we are going to bring awareness to in City Hall. And yeah, that's basically the premise of our work. We also hope to kind of collab with organizations. We're going to hold school drives. We already have a couple, or school supply drives. We have just a myriad of events planned. But yeah, I think this is going to be work that we conduct throughout the school year, and I'm really, really excited.
Is this structured in a way that when you move on to post high school, that it lives on? Have you structured it in a way as a permanent type of council?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think that's one of the big reasons why I'm also doing this, is because while I do plan on leading this just initially, once I go off to college, which is after my senior year, I'm going to leave this off to a new generation of kids and of students. And it's going to be something that's permanently established. And this is something that I plan to keep, that I hope stays in the district.
Awesome.
Thank you.